I'll decide who's going to go in. So who's first? Who would like to ask a question first? And don't wait until the 29th minute to come with your question.
Thank you, Kevin.
Sister Harriet.
I was going to say, Pastor Selman, we as a church, or we as the Adventists, we already sit and eat together at least once a week, which is Sabbath. So we've already started that building on that foundation.
Yeah, but are the families at home doing that? Because
yeah, I was just going to say, Harriet.
Yeah, somebody was going to say something. Go on.
No, I was just going to say to Harriet, you was, from what Pastor Selman was saying, is the families sitting together. Right. We may have fellowship lunch and we may have different things, but I think he's specifically talking about families as a group.
Yeah,
you know? Not different families
the family
together.
unit.
I was meaning as a family unit, we do have Sabbaths where we can sit together as a family, not as a church family, but as a family, those who don't have fellowship lunch at church.
Oh, sure, and that's fine. But remember, we want to get this as a daily routine, you know. But let me say this something to this to Harriet, that I've discovered that families, even in churches, you know, church family, the wider family. I found out that churches where families meet together at the church and have lunch, these are very close churches. You ever notice that? There's something mysterious about eating together. I mean, I've read a lot of research on this, but there's something mysterious about it. But you know, there's also this mysterious piece about marriage. Marriage, you know, Ephesians chapter 5, the Bible says, but this is a mystery. But I speak concerning Christ and the church. What the researchers have not been able to find or pin down is to why this is such a powerful thing for families. They have not been able to pin that down because of mystery. And I think it's one of those mysteries that will be revealed and unveiled within every family, within each individual family. You know, because God is a God of miracles. He's a God of variety. So my experience in my family will not be yours. We will all be joined, but the different experiences, to my mind, is what makes the difference. So I can testify as to what I did. Our tradition at home every Friday night, apart from the fact that we ate every evening together with the children growing up, but our tradition every Friday night was to eat hair starts. We did that every Friday night. We look forward to that. It's like the family looked forward to that. We told jokes, we laughed, we did all kind of stuff. And so when our children went overseas to study, they missed it so much that they wanted us to come down, and we were foolish enough to go down there and set up over there with them. And so we look forward to that same thing. We carry on the same way from before, and they enjoyed it and they love it, because there's this mysterious thing on the inside of it that you really cannot explain what it really is. Even if it's sitting down eating a peanut butter sandwich or eating some nuts or whatever, or fruit, you know, there's something about it that we really cannot pin down.
Thank you. Sister Carol and then Sister Sandra.
Thank you. Thank you for those examples and instructions. But just to be clear, if you would just go over, in the first part of the presentation, you mentioned about overlearning and validation. I'm not sure everybody understands those terms. It would be good if you could give us some examples. Thanks.
Oh, you're referring to the first presentation. As I spoke about calm down, speaking non-defensively, and validation and overlearning. That is a piece you want me to go back and explain for you. Is that correct?
More in terms of the validation and the overlearning.
Overlearning, okay. When we speak in terms of overlearning, it is more like going back through the thing again. And we have a posture that we take in the therapy room, that if you've been working with a client for a while, and especially this work well with persons on drug more so, but with anybody, you're working with a client, right? And the client is doing well, right? The client is doing well. Now, since the client is doing well, you're happy for the client because you're saying, well, the client is now on his way or her way to becoming, meeting their goals.
Right.
But somewhere along that line, the client may regress. What we do is that we start from the beginning and come through again. In other words, we go back to where we were from the beginning and come through again.
Right.
So as to help the client, because we always figure out regression is not necessarily a bad thing because you already know the skills. So you go back and you come forward again. So when we talk about overlearning, that is what we're making reference to. You're going back and you're coming forward again. So if you were trying, let's say you were trying a particular method and you were making progress with it, but you haven't really reached where you want to reach again, you have to go back to the beginning again, okay?
Right.
Overlearning, go back to where you were and begin to come through and follow through the process again. There's certain steps that you have to take. And it is called bits, meaning B-I-T-S, bits, meaning that you throw little bits of things there for the person to grab on, to catch on to. You understand? They may have catch on. Let's say that both of you stop talking. There's no more communication. Stonewalling. There's no more communication occurring in the relationship anymore or in the family. You throw little bits here so you can bring up the whole idea of you can begin to talk about maybe something you saw at work today. You understand? And you talk about that thing.
Something that is common.
Something that is common to both of them.
Yeah.
You talk about that thing. Simple things. Simple things that the person can respond to and say something to. You understand? Now it's also true that if you throw out a bit and the person does not respond, you may need to try a different method. Throw a different bit.
And they didn't take it.
They didn't take it. Not a bit, a bit.
A bit.
Two different things. I want to say bit. The difference between bit and bit. You understand? But you're throwing, I guess you can put in that category too, but I don't want to sound like that.
No, I said a bit.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the difference between a bit and a bit. So you're throwing something out there and you use that step-by-step method. It has to be deliberate though.
Yes.
It has to be deliberate and consistent because you want to connect with the person, right? So you throw that out there and talk. For example, now yesterday I lecturing on some of my business. I don't know how the folk in England, Bajans, I don't know if you have the Bajans in England, you know, say Bajans are the most malicious people in here. So, but anyway, officious is a much more officious is probably much more better. But anyway, yesterday me and my wife had this argument, and I don't mind arguments because they don't bother me. I know we're good. We had this argument, and so I know when she got to the car, I'm expecting her to be a little upset with me because I was just laying it on. I was just laying this thing on. You understand? Be careful not to use certain words, right? And so when she got in the car, I engaged in small conversation. You understand? I engaged in this small conversation with the hope that eventually I will move into the bigger conversation. You see? So we got so caught up in the small conversation that I did not even worry to get to the big conversation. So whatever it is we had yesterday and discover angry about, that's done. It's over.
I don't even remember.
It's done. It's over with. You see what I'm saying? But I thought that, when she got in the car, I could have jumped on her again. But it's like, why? I need to connect, feel the warmth. So I do that. So I'm talking about bits are these overlearning is what you do. Now, when we speak in terms of validation, though, and I mentioned that earlier, I thought I did bring that up earlier
To validate
to validate the person. Is like validation has to do though with paying attention to a person's feelings. The person's feelings, because this is more often emotional than anything else. The person's feelings, where I look at, I realize that my wife is hurting over something, and so I say something to validate her feelings. For example, I will say something like, I can see that you are upset over something I said this morning.
Yes.
And I'm I just want you to know that you have a right to be upset, because I really should not have said that. I think you were right in feeling the way that you felt. So I am validating her feelings.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? I am making her feel she's special and she's important, and letting her know that I am sorry about what I have said. And let me say this too, because I've heard it many times from persons. We have to decide oftentimes in our families if we want to be right. Notice my words. If we want to be right, or if we want to have the relationship. Facts are irrelevant when you're trying to resolve a problem. If you're trying to get through a stressor in the relationship, you don't focus on the facts. You focus on the feelings that the person is having. And that has to be very, very important. So you validate feelings. Oh, but Pastor, man, I got to be honest, because if I'm not honest, come on, give me a break. What you mean by you have to be honest? Can't you be honest and say that your partner is hurt? Isn't that honesty? That is honesty. Honesty is recognizing your partner is hurt and deal with that. There's another time you can get back to the real issue, but you validate the feelings by recognizing the hurt that the person is going through. So example, if you're going through a very rough time during the COVID time, you can say to your husband or to your wife, hey, look, you know what? I know that going to work is so important to you, because you like to look out for the family, make sure that the bills are paid, and make sure a roof is kept over our head, and so on and so forth. You want to do that, and say to them, hey, look, but I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. Is there anything I can do to make it better for you? Is there something that you would want for me to do? So you're validating the person's feelings. That's what you're doing. You're apologizing in the process inside of there. You're looking at the positives that the person have inside of there. So you're taking all of these things, you're putting them together, and you're trying to bring out the best that you can bring out, so that you can help to reduce the conflict as much as you possibly can. So you go from the calm down, got to calm yourself down. You go non-defensively, is how you speak. You'll validate what is happening. These things that are happening are real. You have to go through them, but you know your feelings, you know, so on and so forth. And if that, when you've gone through that and nothing has changed, you start the process going. Or if the research finds that is when you go back over the process that is helpful. You have to be careful bringing new things to the table, because oftentimes you don't know how those new things will work out. But you're experimenting as you try to pull the family back together. I hope that helped you, Carol.
Yes, very good. Thanks.
Thank you for those nuggets. Welcome. Thank you for those nuggets there. Sister Sandra?
Talk to me, Sandra.
Where has she gone?
Yeah, she's there. But she's
okay, another question, somebody else? Yep. Brother Joshua, I think you've got two machines on, Brother Joshua. You need to use one only.
Can you turn that on?
Well, turn it on. Leave the meeting.
Okay. Okay, Brother Josh?
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah, you're echoing though, because there's still two machines actually on.
Okay. Yeah, can you hear me then? Yeah.
Yeah, carry on.
All right. Yeah, Pastor, I heard you spoke of the importance of putting a habit in what you do, a habit in praying, make it a habit to pray. And I'm connecting that to eating together. Most of the times, it's a habit that when we eat, we always pray for God to bless the food. So that can be one thing. Just what I can imagine is you cannot go, say, if the table is set, we all sit there and invite God and ask God to bless our food. And as we eat, we know that we are in the presence of God. And I don't know, I'm trying to connect it together, just because it's just a habit that we do. And most of the time when we are eating, we're always, as soon as we bless the food, we are always together and eating together. I don't know whether there's a connection there or anything.
Well, there is a connection, because what you're doing is you're bringing a double whammy to it, because you are, I mean, the research that may not have said that the families prayed before they ate, but it says that they ate. Now, if you are praying and then you're eating, you should be much stronger than the ones who didn't pray. So there is the connection there that exists. That is why I began in the presentation saying that family that pray together stays together.
Brilliant.
Because that's just a reality. God must always be the umbrella on which we all operate under. We need to thank God for the fact that we have food upon the table to eat, because He is the one that provider. He's the Jehovah Jireh. He provides for us, and we need to thank Him for that. And having thanked Him, you can dig into that food. You can talk to your family members, because now you've created an atmosphere where the presence of God is there. The food is going to taste much better. The food, everyone will be full by the time they finish. And when you are finished, now what we do generally on Sabbaths, though we've done for years, is that after eating, we relax for a little while and then we take a walk. We've done that all of our lives, wherever we are. So we would get up, we sit at the table after eating, relax, chit chat, and then after that we take a walk, go walk somewhere. And we walk for about an hour, hour and a half, relaxing, chit-chatting, the children running all over the place, enjoying themselves. To this day, we have friends that come over, and when they come over for lunch on Sabbath, we say to them, okay, it's time for a walk. When they first start coming, they couldn't understand what we mean, but they understood it afterwards. So every Sabbath now, they look forward to that walk. They look forward to coming and eating with us. They look forward to that every Sabbath. But they also look forward to that walk. My grandson, now he loves it. He runs all over the place and have a ball. He just enjoyed himself. We just got a little granddaughter there. They live in Illinois, outside of Chicago. We wish we had her too, to take her for the walk, but that is not going to be a possibility. You know, wish we can just beam her over, take her for the walk, and send her back. Children must always go back to their parents, you know. So so I'm saying all these things are good habits. You know, walk out with your wife. Don't say that I'm gonna lay down and sleep. What's that? Lay down and sleep, man. Get up, take a walk. These things take discipline, like I said. But these are things that make families strong. So that's a very good point you're making there, my brother. Brother Joshua, Munimo.
That's right. Okay, thank you so much. We've come to the